Hi, my name is Jens Nilsson and I'm a solution expert from Sweden. I have been working for Quintiq for 3.5 years with a focus on the automotive industry. When we're talking about the automotive industry, we're talking about long and complex supply chains. That means that they have multiple different planning puzzles that we can address, but the main ones and the main issues that they have is to handle and manage disruptions and with planning and also preventing them. In addition to this, we also see options where we can help them to plan in order to increase the throughput and also decrease the lead times and inventories. And if we look at from a bigger perspective, a lot of the changes that are going on in the industry is now that we have electrification and they need to do more and more variants of the same car. This means that the parts that they have to produce and the components are changing, which means that the factories are changing, which means that they need to be more agile in the planning in order to cope with the changes in routings and lead times. The really long term, we typically start with S&OP process, and here we're balancing demand and supply in multiple different scenarios where we do different assumptions. And based on the plan, we also get financial information, meaning what would be the effect if we execute this scenario on the bottom line. So this is very powerful for management because they help them evaluate the different options they have for how to move the organization forward from a strategic perspective. Then we move into the tactical planning, where we take the demand profile created in the S&OP cycle and we start to plan that from a tactical perspective. So that means we still want to keep a very high delivery performance and we want to keep our bottlenecks utilized. When it comes to short term, we start to shift the focus. I just want to make that clear. So here we're talking more about managing this and preventing disruptions, reducing lead times and increasing throughput. And here we can use the Quintiq technology of propagation, which is a key technology to be able to manage disruptions, because you can see the effect of a delay throughout the entire supply chain. Not only the next activity or the next one, you can actually see everything that comes up after that as a result. First, we have a final assembly, and here the complete focus is on managing disruption and also to not have unnecessary buffers. Before the final assembly, we have the sub-assemblies to actually do the components. And here we are also focusing on disruptions, but we also start to look more at managing and increasing the throughput and reducing the lead times, because typically the assembly lines here are a bit more agile, meaning that by doing smart planning we can actually reduce the lead times and increase the throughput to some extent. So before the sub-assembly we also have part production, and here it's more make-to-stock environment, because the parts can typically go to many different cars in the end. So here there is a focus not only on delivery performance, but we also want to have larger batches to reduce setup times. We want to be able to also plan based on forecast and inventory targets. Between all these sites, there is also a logistics puzzle, and this also includes other suppliers that might not be owned by the automotive company directly. So here we want to bring in the parts and bring them to the sub-assembly. From the sub-assembly we take those components, we go with them to the final assembly. An integrated planning solution offers full visibility, clear and consistent planning processes, and the main benefits typically come from the journey there, where we, together with the customer and based on our own knowledge, develop best practices for planning within that specific company. And here we have Quintiq's 100% fit philosophy, which means that we try to make it so that we really support the customer needs, and we're not focusing on having one standard solution that fits everyone, but rather it should be the best possible planning solutions for the customer. And when we get there to have a completely integrated planning solution, we see that we have optimized the entire supply chain. So when talking about optimal supply chains, we're talking about on time, in full delivery with the lowest possible lead time while still keeping the cost under control. And also, by having an integrated planning platform, you also should be able to react to the changing environment around you.